Hey guys, it's Ben the Coin Geek at Old Pueblo Coin. Thanks for joining us today. We're going to have some fun with an open box from PCGS. As always, like, comment, share. We'll do all the YouTube things here, helps out the algorithm. And we're going to take a look, first of all, at a 1938 Denver Mint Mercury dime, which was from an album that we got in. This is actually two different sets of coins that we sent off. One went out on the slow boat and was basically gone from November through February, March. The other one I think was only gone for about 6 weeks, a little bit faster. But the slow boat coins, you know, they all both came back similar time, so we'll put them all into one video because it was a small batch. So this coin here, my goodness about the reverse of that coin, look at that, that's lovely. Some people like them completely brilliant with that toning, but I just like the color palette regardless of how strong it is. It's a pretty coin. And then you've got the center band on the fascies coming across all the way. Nice full band action here. MS65 full band is the grade. 1938 Denver. This is probably about a $100 coin. So you know, the market on one that is, I think you get a small premium for that tone on the back of that. That's what I'm going with. That's my story. I'm sticking to it. So the engineer threw some things in here which are kind of fascinating. We'll see how the true view turned out on this. He tends to grab some of these pennies, cents from that time frame of the 60s and 70s that have interesting types of toning, crescent toning and stuff, and gets the true view on there because it'll usually pick up on like that purple tone that you see right here at the top. And that'll be on the photo. So at a straight shot, you don't really see it. But some people collect these things just for the tone. You don't really see it, and then you get at certain angles, and it kind of pops up on there. So I guess the true view probably looks like this, you know, where you can see both colors at once. Proof 65 red brown on that. That's just kind of for fun. Speaking of for fun, I don't know how fun this is, but he took a couple of Susan B. Anthony's that were in MS67 NGC holders and cracked them out. We may have tried to cross these originally. I'm not sure if these are the same ones, but generally speaking, the people who are doing registry sets, they're really searching for the top pops if they can on things of coins of these nature. I know a lot of people don't chase down Susan B. Anthony's. But also, just let's take a look and see kind of what really nicer grade Susan B. Anthony's look like. Something that is hard to say out loud, but for those of us who are very technical grading wonks, you're going to look at a coin and say, okay, well, look, that definitely looks different. Some of us probably have never even noticed that you've got the same reverse from the Ike that you have on the back of the Susie B, because you know all you ever look at is the front of the Susie B. So both of these are coins that, if they come back, I think in the 67 holders are pretty solid price-wise, but in 66 they're probably pretty inexpensive all around. So those were cracks that didn't break our way. Next up, we've got some variety attribution time. These are cherry picker coins that the engineer got out of mint sets and sent in, and these are the type of things that they're hard to see. You can almost kind of see something going on there with the 10 power loop. We're going to get out the 20 power loop. We're going to focus in on the word of in United States of America and see if we can see what we were looking for here. And this is a little bit harder to film, but you can kind of see the doubling on the F there and the O in of, and a little bit, and then you see a little bit more in the America. Hard to get the right angle here. Use all my superhero powers of filming to get something that looks like doubling. So what's intriguing about these coins here, cherry pickers 801, there's actually two of them because the other one's the 802, and both of them have some doubling, and I'll show you from the cherry picker's guide actually what it looks like. And both these coins, we'll talk about the grade, you can kind of see the doubling here in the O and the F, and that A looks definitely like it's got a little bit of the double going on there. In that angle, you can see the S in states, you can see the line on there pretty good. 801, 802, both of these, by the way, 66 and 66, a population of 29 with only 3 graded higher, population of 30 with only 1 graded higher. So both of those, for the specialist, are going to find those coins to be kind of good coins to pick up. Probably $100 and $150 respectively each. So you can see on a close-up, this is probably using like whatever 50 power magnification. The main difference on these two, I think, has to do with the fact that you've got the doubling down and to the left on the 801, and then on the 802 you have the doubling is kind of on par or up and to the left instead of down. But either way, there's a good amount of doubling in there. Hard to see, and maybe we'll have some photos of the coins themselves from a better angle than just what I can do with my loop-de-loop. All right, next up, 1935. This is also a Denver Mint coin, also from an album, also really has some really cool toning to it, and mostly white looking, and then you get at some of these angles and you start to see that lovely color palette. It's kind of a fun coin. I'm kind of enamored with coins from that time frame. Just a brilliant coin. Nice full bands, strong looking coin all the way around. MS65 full band. That coin is a little bit better than the other full band we saw earlier, you know, only 3 years hence, but this coin is going to be something that's going to be in excess of $300 on that guy. Little bit tougher. A little bit tougher. Next up, a 1868, not 1968, Shield nickel, and this is a coin that is, I think, in some ways obviously uncirculated. And then in other ways, we're going to talk a little bit about what we see here, because it came back undetailed, cleaned, and this is why. I can show you pretty easy on this coin, although it's hard to see. So by hard to see, I mean you're not going to see a ton in the way of lines. You can see a little bit of line action there, but this has a lot more to do with the overall remnant of luster. Let's put it that way. There's a little bit of line action there, but the real problem is at this angle, the coin goes dark. And so that is kind of what it looks like sometimes when a coin's been wiped, especially on a nickel coin. You want to see it still look kind of white at that angle. Like you see how it would be white, but then here all of a sudden it goes to dark. So that's not just the lighting on this coin. You know, I don't want you to think I'm just messing with you on the lighting, but that actually has a lot more to do with the fact that the coin has, at some point, somebody kind of wiped it with like a heavy cloth or something, and that disrupted the overall look of the coin. Really, it's a shame too, because it's a really nice looking coin. I mean, the luster, where there is original luster, is very powerful. And let's look a little bit closer at this coin, because, you know, really nice shield nickels we don't see with a ton of frequency. And just a really cool looking coin, all in all. All right, next up, once again, I think here we've got the engineer throwing in some coins, more of a mid-century coin, modern coin, that hoping to get a really high grade on, because things like Susan B. Anthony's and Eisenhower dollars, very difficult to get really high grade versions of. There's that same reverse that you see on the Susie B. And this coin, actually, I think we're just like one little mark away from this coin being a really high grade. This came back at 65. I'm guessing this coin is doesn't jump a lot until you get to 66 or 66 plus. Generally speaking, clad coins much harder to grade, because you always seem to have contact marks kind of almost embedded in the overall surface of the coin. But I think basically it's kind of like this little line over here to the left of the nose. That's probably stopping it from getting to a higher grade. One of the things to look for on a clad coin is something that has a nicer eye appeal, like where the luster almost makes it look like a silver coin. That is something that's kind of an indicator that you have a little bit higher quality. because usually what you see is like in this area here where you see that luster flowing, generally speaking, you'll see, you won't see those pools of luster as much on an Ike, especially just a clad Ike. So, you know, I understand him trying on that. All right, we've got some coins coming up here that we had sent in on the little bit faster Expressway, Orient Express. For those of you who collect, Barber quarters, right away you'll know what date I'm throwing up here. 1896 San Francisco Mint, with a very, very, very bright surfaces, and we're going to talk a little bit about the brightness here on this 1896S. And sometimes people ask about getting coins certified or not getting coins certified. When do you, when don't you? And generally speaking, when you have a coin that's going to be a more rare date, something that's really hard to come by or that can be easily counterfeited, those are coins to get graded. So this coin, you'll see some really heavy hairlines to it. This is almost like eraser mark land where people were just shining that sucker up. But we got it certified anyways because 1896 is oftentimes can be counterfeited, because it's the type of coin that even in this condition is going to be probably several $100s. 1896, so they have a original population of a little bit over 188,000 of these guys, but the survival rate's pretty low, and so that's the type of thing that people need to fill their book up. I actually like the harshly clean designation. I often think that they should have more layers of designation for different types of cleaning, just so people can kind of distinguish, this is cleaning versus wherever the shield nickel went. I mean, talk about two different coins, both that say cleaned, but obviously cleaning can mean different things. It's like the difference between having a common foul and a flagrant foul, intentional foul. What are all the differences, right? So I think that it would be good. Yeah, I think it's good to have those different monikers on the different types of cleaning. So this coin, 1892, fun date. Those 1892, 3, 4 realm of coins, 95 as well on the Morgan dollar. You start to run into all kinds of difficulties finding them in higher grades. I thought this coin was pretty cool. Really, really obvious proof-like finishes. Almost looks like a proof, a circulated proof, mind you. Has actually most of the luster intact over the high points on the coin. I mean, it really, honestly, if you just look at the eagle on the back here, I'd call the coin uncirculated based on that. It would be a low-grade unk with all the chatter and stuff on that proof-like field. Did I mention the coin is proof-like? So 1892, AU58. Wow, whee! I'm just going to have to write proof-like on the surface of this one here. Maybe not over the coin. Maybe I'll just put it on the label. But interesting to me that they don't put a PL on a coin like this. I am a little bit on the dumbfounded side. I'm not going to lie. So this is, in proof-like, they're a lot more difficult to get. Price point is probably 50%, 75% higher usually on a proof-like coin than on an uncirculated coin. So maybe this is a $400 coin, something like that, in a 58. It just stinks that there's not the PL on there, because honest to goodness, once again, if you talk about having something that's the monikers on there, the different terminology, the different things that tell you, hey, it's a full band, hey, it's a double die. That's the entire point of sending something in, is so that people have that point of reference, so you can look at a coin and say, oh yeah, definitely. And so a little disappointed that that doesn't have that on there. All right, 1916D Mercury dime, and of course, if it's a 16D Mercury dime, you already know what the grade is. I think that like 9 out of 10 Mercury dimes that I get in come back the exact same grade, and you guys can all say it in unison here. 12AG3. And that's very, very typical. What I like about this particular coin is just that very, very dark original surface quality to it. Just looks like a coin that's been sitting around a long, long time. And you can see the wear down into the words on the edges here in United States of America, 1 dime. Typical AG3. Sometimes you can actually get to a good 4 and still have the edges just touching the lettering. But when you start seeing like half the lettering gone on some of the words like dime in America, that's a pretty typical thing to see that just be an AG3. I think these are still in that $800 ballpark. I'd have to check, but they've been kind of holding up there even with the market softening. Your scarce states tend to adjust last and or not adjust at all. Maybe they just hold in there. So, all right, guys. Thanks so much for watching today. I'm Ben the Coin Geek. You can subscribe by clicking on the owl button. Leave your comments down below. We also have membership levels. If you click on the Abraham Lincoln icon, you'll take a look at those as well. Thanks for being here today. Take care.